Hey guys, in this video I'll talk about insurance non-renewals. In some cases you could have been in business for 12 months or 12 years. You might be getting this nasty non-renewal letter from your insurance company. Those are usually come out 45 to 60 days before the actual renewal period. And you might be scratching your head and thinking, what the heck? I've been paying on time, had no claims, did not have any speeding tickets, and why on earth insurance company is non-renewing? And they will list in the letter that it's going to be something along the lines that unfortunately your risk is not acceptable to our underwriting guidelines and standards. And if you have a good insurance agent, they should be able to help you navigate through that mess. In some cases, most cases actually, that's pretty much, if the insurance company non-renewed, you just look for the new one. But, in certain circumstances, if properly explained and if you dig in and understand what's causing non-renewal, you might be able to flip that into renewal and actually even get a pretty decent renewal rate. And so I'll cover kind of those reasons and steps, what needs to be done in the next few minutes. So number one reason for non-renewals is typically your DOT, your safety inspections and violations. You'd be surprised how many, especially the new truckers, they have no clue how to look up their safety scores, how to see their DOT inspections. They just go about their business, get the loads, deliver from point A to point Z. And then, when they get that letter, they're like, oh, what's going on? And then my conversations typically is like, oh, I'm looking at your safety scores and I see you had 3 driver inspections and all 3 resulted in auto service violations, and then 6 vehicle inspections and 3 resulted in auto service violations, which is pretty much a death sentence for a trucking company, because with those types of safety scores, you will not be able to get insurance, period. And here's where you can actually see and look up your safety inspections and those violations. So I already found a company, just gonna pick a random one, All American Trucking. So this guy's out of Texas, did not fill out his MCS 150 properly. He's listing that he's just delivering like everything, from machinery to general freight, utilities, or maybe that's what he does. Anyway, this is the portion where it talks about your inspections. So you see he had the 2 vehicle inspections. One resulted in auto service violation, which puts him at 50%, which is double the national average of 21%. Had 2 driver inspections, 1 violation, 50%. National average is 6.1. With scores like that, the chances are that he's going to be set for non-renewal. And even if he squeaks by and gets the renewal offer, the price is going to be much higher to what he used to pay. And you can actually go in deeper and look and see what exactly it is, SMS Results. And that's where, under Hours of Service Compliance, you can look it up and check your own violation summary. So in this case, he had oh boy, that's a big one. So the false report of driver's records of duty status. So it means he was exceeding his hours and was falsifying the reports. You can click on actual inspection history, and that's where you'll see when it was done. The vehicle is going to be listed, and then all the details of the findings. And in this case, this was a vehicle inspection, so seems his brakes, his wheel inspection failed, so he got dinged for that. And the other one was that the false driving report. So again, make sure you know how to look it up, and make sure this information that's in this section is correct, because you'd be surprised that sometimes there are mistakes, errors. We had one a few weeks ago where it was our client, and they had several inspections. They passed most of those inspections, but there was one that was showing a vehicle violation. We went over with the client over that violation, and the client was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I did not I do not recognize this truck. This is not my truck. I don't even know why this is showing up on my record. And actually what happened, this was error on the DOT's part. They literally slapped and listed wrong inspection and wrong violation to a wrong company. I guess the names were similar with two different companies. Don't know exactly how this was keyed in, but long story short, they were able to dispute that and have that violation removed from their safety score records because this was not their truck. It was never operating under their authority, and they were able to prove that. And this kind of leads me to the second part where you can actually go into data queues. Make sure you register, because this is the formal process of disputing any of those violations. I mean, if the violation is a violation and it occurred and there's no way on earth you're going to be able to dispute that because you have to have substantial proof, then you don't need to go through the hassle of registering and submitting because it takes time. But in that particular case, they register data queues is the process with FMCSA to dispute those violations in that particular case, because this was not even their truck. Took them, I think, 4 to 5 days, but eventually was removed, and they were able to get actually a much better renewal offer versus because initially this was set up for non-renewal. And it's insurance company specific. Every insurance company is different. Some will just say, hey, we made our decision, this is it. And they usually, those decisions are made 60 days before the renewal. In certain cases, it's still worth to go back to the insurance company maybe a couple of weeks before the renewal and try to, ask them just, hey, pull my record again. Because what happens when they pull up your safety score 60 days before the renewal, they basically look at the 24-month window of those inspections, and the more recent the inspection, then there's it's a more negative effect towards your insurance. Had a case a couple months ago where the policy was actually Progressive's policy, excuse me, and it was set up for non-renewal. They had violations and missed couple vehicle inspections. It wasn't nothing that kind of like serious, but this was sufficient for the insurance company to set up for non-renewal. And we reached out to Progressive, talked to their underwriters, and they were pretty adamant about their decision. And this was about 2 months before the policy was expiring, and they were like, nope, we're not budging, this is what it is. We went over all those inspections and all those violations, and they said, well, these are not it's not horrible, but not good based on our underwriting guidelines, not enough for us to renew this policy. And then 2 weeks before the renewal, we reached out to Progressive again, talked to them, went over the inspections again, and what happened, few new inspections popped up, and a few old ones that were kind of the tail end of the, happened almost, 23 months ago, those fell off. So because of that, the safety scores change a little bit and they're improved. And, Progressive, as every other insurance company, they have their internal models, how they, model and measure that risk. And when they ran it again, the system actually came back and said, bingo, this one's good to go now. So they ended up offering renewal. It was actually, interestingly, even cheaper than the prior year's price. So it went from, completely no-go, non-renewal, won't do business with you, into an offer that was actually, the best price we could get for that insurer. Because otherwise, we were looking to get them, the next best offer was like 30% increase to what they were paying the current year. So the long story short, a good trucking agent has to help you navigate through those non-renewals. It's worth fighting. You make sure to review all those inspections, make sure you know all those violations, and if there are inaccuracies or some, I had one years ago where, there are valid reasons, there's some discrepancies with the paperwork, and they also did the data queue and they were able to remove that one violation. So it's worth fighting. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes diligence, but as long as you're disciplined and organized, you can help yourself. It'll save you some money. In some cases, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars. So, with the help of a good agent, yes, you can, still have a pretty good renewal offer. And again, doesn't happen often. I would say 90% of those non-renewals will be and will stay as non-renewals. But, there's a good 10% chance that, you'll be able to fight it and end up with a much better offer than, your current expiring policy. That's it for today. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and keep watching us. Thanks. Bye.